On a stormy evening in 1955, a passenger plane lifted off from New York carrying 57 people. The flight plan was routine. The weather was manageable. The crew was experienced. No one aboard suspected they were about to disappear from history. Shortly after reaching cruising altitude, the aircraft checked in with air traffic control for what would become the final confirmed transmission. The pilot reported minor turbulence, nothing unusual, and requested a routine course adjustment. Then the radio fell silent. Controllers repeatedly called the aircraft. There was no response. Military stations joined the effort. Nearby planes searched the skies. The aircraft had vanished from radar as if it had never existed. A massive search operation began. Rescue teams combed forests, mountains, and stretches of ocean. Investigators expected to find wreckage within days. Instead, they found absolutely nothing. No debris washed ashore. No distress signal was received. No bodies were recovered. It was as though the plane and everyone aboard had simply evaporated into thin air. Months turned into years. Families mourned without answers. Memorials were held. Official reports labeled the aircraft lost. Eventually, the world moved on, and Flight 914 became another unsolved aviation mystery. Then, 37 years later, something impossible happened. On a clear morning in 1992, air traffic controllers at an airport in South America detected an unidentified aircraft entering restricted airspace. Its transponder code did not match any active flight. The radar operators initially assumed it was a malfunction. But the signal remained steady, moving exactly like a real aircraft approaching from the north. Controllers attempted radio contact. After several unanswered calls, a voice suddenly crackled through the speakers. It sounded confused, frightened, and completely unaware of the year. The pilot identified himself as captain of Flight 914 from New York to Miami. He requested landing instructions and asked why he appeared to be far off course. The control tower fell silent. Records showed Flight 914 had disappeared 37 years earlier. Everyone on board was presumed dead. Yet the pilot sounded calm, professional, and utterly convinced it was still 1955. Unsure how to respond, controllers instructed the aircraft to continue its approach. Airport personnel gathered near windows, staring at the approaching plane in disbelief. As the aircraft emerged from the clouds, witnesses felt chills run through their bodies. The plane's design belonged to another era. Its markings matched those used decades before. The aircraft touched down smoothly. Emergency crews surrounded the runway. Officials prepared for what should have been the most extraordinary moment in aviation history. But events became even stranger. According to later accounts, the pilot noticed vehicles, equipment, and airport markings unlike anything he recognized. His confusion rapidly turned into panic. The tower reportedly informed him of the date. A long silence followed. Then the pilot shouted something unintelligible over the radio. Witnesses claimed his voice was filled with terror, as though he had just learned an impossible truth. Ground crews attempted to approach the aircraft. Before anyone could reach it, the engine suddenly roared back to life. The aircraft accelerated down the runway. Controllers ordered it to stop. Emergency vehicles moved into position. But the pilot ignored every command. The plane lifted off again. Within seconds it climbed into the clouds and disappeared from radar for a second time. This time, there were hundreds of witnesses. Investigators searched for evidence. None was found. No airport records officially confirmed the landing. No photographs surfaced. No radar data was ever released publicly. The story spread rapidly through newspapers, magazines, and later the internet. Some claimed it was proof of time travel. Others believed it was an elaborate fabrication that grew larger with each retelling. Researchers began digging into the details. Problems quickly emerged. No verified passenger manifest could be found. No official aviation authority acknowledged the incident. The evidence behind the story seemed frustratingly thin. Yet the legend refused to die. The reason was simple. The story touched a deep human fear, the possibility of losing everything in an instant while the world continues without you. Imagine stepping onto a plane for a short flight. Imagine landing only a few hours later to discover everyone you ever knew has been dead for decades. Imagine realizing that history moved on without you. Whether Flight 914 truly existed or not, that terrifying possibility continues to haunt people around the world. The idea that time itself could betray us is more frightening than any ghost story. Because if a person vanished today and returned 40 years from now, they wouldn't be visiting the future. They would be returning to a world where they no longer belong.